Welcome back to Mike's Wheelhouse, everybody. Here with my buddy JT, and today we are working on his 2011 Mitsubishi Endeavor. And he has opted for a new head unit. The problem is there's no spot for it, so we got to make a spot. As you can see, the instrument cluster is all factory and no spot for a 4-din head unit. So we're going to take all of this out and make a great big hole. Hopefully it fits, and let's see what happens. First things first, we got to remove the bezel from the dash. And this is what the back of JT's head looks like. So there's 3 wires for the seat belt, your hazards, and the airbag. 3 plugs right at the top. Got to get the clip pushed down, wiggle the wires out, and then we can work on the next set of buttons, or turn the wipers on, either or. Down at the bottom, or right in the middle, is a plug for the factory head unit, which comes unplugged when you pull the bezel off. Then you've got a plug for something else and something else. And then you can pull the bezel all the way out of the way and put it right in front of the camera so nobody can see anything. So now we've got our factory 4-din head unit, which we're going to use the bracketry. All right, so I got my handy dandy screw gun. I'm going to take out the 4 screws, which you guys can't see, but way back there above the radio is a 10mm nut that we got to get to. So we're going to take the top display out. Maybe, hopefully, it slides out.
Yeah.
There we go. There. Now you might be able to see it.
Yep.
A little bit of light. Right there. Gotta take that nut off so we can get the whole bracket and everything out. Alright, so we've got 3 plugs. That one, this great big one, and whatever this is and how it comes out. Oh, how'd you do that?
Just wiggle it up.
Huh. Oh, it's one of those ones.
Alright, so you just wiggle it out, it falls right out. Yeah. So now we've got our 4-din hole that the new radio, new head unit goes into. Our theory is we can cut a hole in the bezel and then reach our hand through and do a Sharpie line from the inside, and that way we can see where to cut the bezel, and hopefully it all fits and lines up and there's like no gaping holes or anything. Let's see what happens. Alright, so as you can see, we got our head units, old factory, new one. They are the same width, so it's going to fit in the spot the way it needs to. Same height. At least I hope you can see that.
Nope.
They're the same height.
That you can see.
So what we're going to do is transfer these brackets over to this new head unit. That way, mounting it back into the vehicle, it's going to be where it needs to be. I hope. Alright, so we're back in the car. We're going to see how close we are to that screw hole and things actually lining up. It's not bad. We can adjust and figure out our other mounting spots. Otherwise, it'll just kind of be floppy. Nobody likes floppy.
Except floppy disks.
Alright, so the next thing is to take the bezel apart, put it back on, line it up, and cut a big hole in it. That's fine.
Okay.
And there is the old
Radio controls.
radio controls. Now we've got an empty bezel and a spot that we can see where we can make marks and cut a great big hole. Hope it works.
Yep.
Made a couple of little preliminary marks that I'm going to try and make a larger hole to shove my hand through, so once we put the bezel back on, we can Sharpie from the inside. Hope it works. Alright, larger hole I can put my hand through. Alright, so got my hole cut. Be careful with these edges, they are a little on the sharp side, so be careful. Alright, back in the car. We can take our bezel, slide it back in, clip it in place, or just break all the clips off, whichever works. What am I doing wrong? Alright, there we go. So now, actually we could have just done it all from up in here. With Sharpie laying down on the factory tray, we can come in here and we can trace a nice line, figure out where it needs to be cut. Alright, pop it back off. See what kind of mark we got.
Turn it around.
So, as you can see, we have a line for the bottom, line for the top, a little bit of our corners.
Got ourselves an outline.
Yeah, we've got an outline. Problem is that
Yeah.
we're gonna have some cover up to do. Hopefully the bezel that came with the new head unit will cover that. Alright, so now that we got it back out on the workbench, we can cut this out. Alright. Worst case scenario, a new bezel is like 30 bucks on Amazon, so I'm not too worried. However, this is our rough hole. I cut it shallow, not to the line yet, so I got more room top and bottom, but I wanted to get close to see how we're looking. And again, remember, these edges are sharp, smelted sharp plastic. Be careful. All right, to the bottom of the circle.
Mm-hmm. I would.
A little bit off the top.
Yeah. And maybe get the nubs off the side also.
That's it. Wow, they didn't do us any favors.
None.
All right, so we move the brackets back.
Mm-hmm.
To pop the floor. Okay.
Because we need
Very good.
Inch. Need to bring an inch forward.
Yep.
All right.
grab Sharpie.
Right there?
Yep, all the way across.
There.
There. Yeah, sure, why not?
Perfect.
I'd like to have the bottom out further and actually just give this a ledge, move it to that next screw back, which will push it out the bottom. And we can actually trim some off the top, rotate it down, and push it forward.
Mm-hmm.
I like that idea. And then we can start making the backing plates and finding something to fill that up with. Yeah?
Yep.
All right, so we have a plan. There is no plan, just kind of wing it.
Isn't that all of our planes?
Always. Don't have one more hole back.
I got one more all the way back here.
Yeah, it's a little too far.
Mm-hmm.
You
Guess we go higher.
no. What you could do is drill a hole further back on this
Yeah.
to have it right here, but like not as far from that one. If you make that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Need a 1/4 inch forward. Yep. Either way, kind of like that.
We're not getting much better than that.
Yeah.
Kind of a gap we got over here. Anything?
Same as over there.
Just snug.
Yep. It's very snug over here.
I'm a little wide on this side.
Yeah. Snug on that side, and wide on that side.
All right.
So the next thing to do would be adding filler, right?
No. We're gonna pull this off. We're gonna try and make some marks on the brackets.
Alright.
So when we unscrew it, we can have something to line up against instead of going, well, I think it's right over here. Chirpy. Now, doesn't move. Gonna do the same thing over here. Alright, so here's our dilemma. With the new head unit in here, it's here. How do you get rid of this big, ugly, gaping holes? What we're going to do is we're going to take this piece of plastic, chop it all up, JB weld it to the back side, and then we'll fill in all the dead space with, I don't know, I think I've got some JB weld or plastic filler or something. We'll fill in everything, clean it all up, spray paint the whole thing black. That way it looks decent, and we'll see what happens. This is all going to be on the back side and hidden. I need a piece to basically fit right in there. And I will adhere it down to this side and up to that side.
Couldn't we just get rid of this?
No. Well, I mean, yeah, but...
Because
yeah,
that's where you're screwing in the control panel
for the older station.
the old one.
Yep. And then we'll... Yeah.
Works for me.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that looks better.
Like that.
Good job.
Alright, fresh tube.
So what's the difference between the two?
One is a hardener,
Hmm.
and the other is the actual stuff.
Ah.
So you mix equal parts, or if you want it to dry faster, more hardener. And I need something to stir it with. And there you have it. Mix it until it's the same color consistency. Just scuffing it up so it gives it something to mechanically bond to each other. Alright, so now when we flip it over and hold it up, they fall out. Awesome. Alright, so pulled out a couple of clamps. Now I've got the pieces all squished in there good enough. That way once these dry and they're all stuck together, we can fill in the gaps with more JB Weld and sand it down smooth and cut it to fit. All right, so it's time to build the wire harness to go from the back of the radio to the car. Got my solder, got my soldering station, got some shrink wrap. All right, so gotta line these up to whatever they go to on the other end. Twist them together after we put our shrink wrap on. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we are in the next day. Our pieces have set up with JB Weld. I've created a nice little blue tape dam to help hold the new stuff. We're going to use some JB Weld plastic bonder. We're going to use this stuff to fill in all the gaps where the factory stereo cutouts are for the knobs and other whatnot stuff. Alright, so I got the first little batch mixed up. We're going to try and get this in the gaps and not completely everywhere, which I'll probably get it everywhere. Yeah, I didn't really mix up enough. We're gonna have to mix up more. This stuff has a 15-minute set time, so you need to work a little quick, not super fast, but I like that it's runny. It'll fill in the low spots. Alright, so I mixed up some more. I got this side all filled in. I put this piece of tape down so I can pull the tape wall closer to it so it fills in the gap a little better. Hopefully this stuff doesn't shrink. I don't think it should, but just in case, I've got plenty. We can mix up more and go from there. We're going to let this sit for about 4 to 6 hours. We'll come back to this later tonight and we'll see what happens. Hopefully it fills all the gaps in and looks the way I want it to. Alright, so now this particular head unit has a rear-facing camera, so what we need to do is mount that, run the wires in with the factory wire loom. Well, to get to that, we got to pull this molding off. This first one, the top side is just popped in. Just kind of pull it. Sounds like it's going to break, but it might. Didn't break. We can take that, throw that up there out of the way. We'll get back to that later. This next piece here, because we need to figure out where to run our wires in through the hatch. We need to take the screws out, which there are a few right here around the handle. Got one there. Where is it? There it is. Got one coming in from here. We got one up here. And one way over here. sun's in my eyes and I can't see. There we go. The rest will be push-in, panel popper kind of setup, or we'll just reach up here and pull like we did with the top piece. Just put your fingers in through the seam, pop it loose, and there it goes. And scratch the side of the truck. So now that we got that out of the way, we can get to everything up inside the hatch, figure out which way we're going to run the wires, and we'll go from there. Welcome back, everybody. So our JB Weld plastic bonder set up overnight. It's the next day. I'm going to take a file to this, clean it up a little bit, clean up the edges, see how it handles a file and sanding. So let's get to it. Alright, let me go find some alcohol, wipe this down, put on another coat. Be right back. Alright, take what's left of that mix. We are going to put it right on the edge. See what kind of a mess we can make. We'll do this for right now till it sets, and then we'll fill up around it to make it a nice solid mount. Alright, so next day, let this stuff set overnight. That way it gets good and hardened. Gonna take file to it, keep going. Doesn't look too bad. So when we go to paint this, we'll paint the whole thing. That way it actually, you know, all blends together. Not have to worry about color matching. Just make it a new color. So that's the hole cut. The circles or half circles filled in. And I think it turned out all right. Tell me what you think down below. Well, going to give this thing a quick scuff with green Scotch-Brite. That way the paint actually has something to adhere to. Why don't you tell me what you would have done differently to make this a smoother fill? Give this one more wipe down, get it ready for paint. So, set up here in my makeshift paint booth. In other words, a piece of cardboard on the workbench. Got my rattle can using the Bear Premium Black Satin. Hope it matches. Alright, we'll let that sit and come back, put on another coat. So we've got our rear view camera with a built-in license plate bracket, our cables that go to the inside. The problem is that we've got this that we need to get from the outside of the car to the inside of the car, or at least the inside of the gate. That's where our big drill bit comes in. I don't remember what size I grabbed. What I'm looking for is the spot somewhere around here to drill through. We're going to mark spot right there. It'll be behind the license plate. The rubber grommets and the standoffs for the screws will keep pressure off the wire. And there we go. Nice big hole in the rear deck lid. Alright, so went up to our local big box store. Got a 1/2 inch rubber grommet. Slipped it over the wires, and now we're going to feed our wires through here. Maybe, hopefully. There we go. Feed this through there, and then at that point we can. Wow, should have kept the other size. First I bought a 3/8 rubber grommet. Figured since I used a 1/2 inch drill bit, I should get a 1/2 inch grommet. Well, now this one seems a little on the big side. But it'll work. We're going to fill this hole up with some clear silicone. That way it's waterproof once we get it all mounted in place. And it will mount to the license plate bracket and sit just like this. We'll adjust the screws so it actually does fit right. Maybe we should route the wire over the top. Yeah. Alright, so we're routing the wire over the top of the bracket. That way, when we screw the license plate back on, it'll all fit nice and neat. It'll be hidden behind the license plate. This will be full of silicone, so it'll be waterproof. And we can start routing wires on the inside. Alright, so we've got our wire through the tailgate. We are going to route it right along this wire loom, up the side of the window, and then we are going to fish it through this hole, and then through this rubber boot, and then down underneath the headliner. Will come down the headliner down to the floor, and then at that point we'll run it all the way up along the floorboard, underneath the door seals, and to the head unit. Alright, so to get to this rubber boot so we can actually fish the wire through it, because you're not just going to be able to fish the wire down, we're going to take the tailgate seal loose, just lift up, and here you just kind of push in, and it's a big rubber grommet. Same thing on the other side. Give it a wiggle, push, there you go. There, see, now it comes loose, and we can work with it a lot easier. we've got our video cable with the courtesy wire. This is your courtesy wire. This is the video cable itself. And I'm just going to fish it up here to start with. Maybe. Hopefully I can see it. Yep. Popped right out right there. Now I'm going to feed most of this wire through here. That way it's close to where it needs to be. I'm gonna go grab some tire wraps and actually tire wrap the wire to the other wire loom on the tailgate, and we'll go from there. Alright, so just routing the wire along the same wire loom, using some electrical tape to just clean it up. So I don't have a whole lot of tire wraps right now, and I forgot to buy some while I was at the big box store. So electrical tape it is. Just route it along, take your tape, wrap it around the loom, and it becomes part of that loom. Alright, so I'm going to use a long straight screwdriver, try and weasel it through this hose and not poke any wires. I'm going to tape the AV cable to the other end and, fingers crossed, pull it back through. There's really no easy way to do this. I'm literally just twisting the screwdriver slightly to hopefully weasel around any wires, and there it is. So now I can tape this other end. There we go. So now I can tape this end with the screwdriver here and hopefully pull it through. Fingers crossed. I don't know if it'll work. I might have to do something completely different, but for now this is the plan. I'm going to try and wrap the tape in a way that it creates somewhat of a ramp right here at the beginning. That way it hopefully it doesn't catch on anything. It's probably just going to slide right out. I don't know. Fingers crossed this works. Alright, believe it or not, I actually got it routed in there, or through there. It's right there. I don't know if you can see it with my hand in the way. That cable right there comes down through the roof. Now the trick is I've got it routed all the way down to here so far. So what I'm going to do next is I'm going to remove this kick panel. There are 2 screws, one down here, one over here. Get that out of the way so I can get this side panel loose and I can fish the wire up towards the front. Got 2 push pins, one in here, one right there. Got my panel popper, get up underneath them. There you go. Get the rubber gasket out of the way. Looks like we got some push clips underneath. Yep. One here, one here. Now I can get this loose to where I can pop this panel loose, and I can route my wire down to the inside of this. Maybe. Alright, so I took the 2 hold downs loose, Phillips screw, both of them, popped it straight up, wiggled around, got it out. There are 3 screws right here holding the side piece down. Took those out, so now my side piece is loose and I can fish this wire down. So I am running out of wire. And fish this down underneath everything. Till it comes out over here. Now I can put this all back together and continue on that way under the rear seat and towards the radio. Probably gonna have to end up with an RCA extension cable, although I don't know how the convenience cable is going to play into that because it's part of it and all. Alright, if you notice, we did fill in the grommet full of silicone, so it is now waterproof. Alright, so because I've got the video cable ran all the way out there, now I can actually start putting my cover back on. That way it's just done and out of the way. I need it loose from there so I can put the kick panel back in. However, now I can straighten this out and I can feed it up through here. I'll feed it behind that wire and then underneath the panel so it comes out there. Just like that, and then I can throw it up that way and I can keep fishing wires that way. But what this allows me to do is put everything back together. So I'll put this plate back in after I route the wires up and over that. Like so. Take my screw gun, put that back in, then this one, then I can put the spare cover back on, I can put my kick plate on, and we'll go from there. Alright, so I forgot to record this, but I've got all my wires tie wrapped up together. I've got the power cable going to the camera. This is the video cable going to the camera. I've got my ground for the power of the camera. And right here is the soldered and shrink wrap power line. And now, with all that done, tie wrapped up together, I can put the covers back on and be done with the tailgate. There is a small problem with the RCA video cable going from the camera up to the head unit, and that is it's too short. So I've got a little adapter here so I can, and an extra RCA cable that I found amongst all my stuff. Got another chunk of wire, be for the what do they call it, the convenience cable or the convenience wire. What I'm going to do is prep this in hopes to get the power from the head unit to the camera, and tape this all up and get it ready. Got my extension cable for the RCA video to the camera. I've got a chunk of wire for the reverse trigger wire coming off the back of the head unit. A couple pieces of shrink wrap, my wire strippers, cutters, more shrink wrap. This is the fun one. This is a cordless Milwaukee soldering iron. This thing is awesome. It's hot and ready to solder in about 20 seconds. Great little tool. I use it a lot. Definitely a great purchase. So, in true spirit of doing more prep work while it's still raining, I'm going to put the bezel back together. I've got it all finished up. Little part right there I'm not too happy about, but it'll be okay. But it's all cut out, painted, sanded down, cleaned up, fits real nice. So what we're going to do is put all of our pieces back in. Just got to figure out which way they go. That one's back in, everything works. Do the other side. So looking at it like this, passenger goes over here. We clip that in. Make sure it's right side up, not upside down. Alright, we got those in. We can go grab the AC controls out of the truck, and install them. That way everything is ready to go when it finally stops raining and we can run the rest of these wires. Alright, got the AC controls out of the truck. You set these in place and screw them down. And there we have it, minus the pocket. So, did a little test fit, and the way this fits in there, this bottom part of the bezel doesn't line up real well with the head unit. So, what I've done is I got a big piece of plastic, straight, clamped it in place, and it's pulling the bottom side in. What I'm going to do is grab my heat gun, warm this up, and see if I can't reshape the bottom edge of this to fit a little better so it looks nicer. Alright, so took the piece of plastic and the clamps off. However, they did make marks on the paint, so I'm going to sand these down real quick and paint it again. Alright, that's got most of the big chunks out. Run over it with the Scotch-Brite. Make the grooves a little bit smaller. One thing to remember about sanding is, well, sanding other things besides wood, is do a cross pattern. That way you're not cutting grooves into your piece, and it flattens it out a little bit better. Of course, now I'm going to have to take all these vents and the buttons out again, since I'm going to repaint it. Because anything worth doing is worth doing over and over and over. Alright, so I forgot to record it, but this is the RCA cable that I had extra, along with my piece of wire to tie into the convenience wire. It's all soldered, shrink wrapped, taped together, and I'm going to lay it underneath the kick panel right here in the process of routing it to the back of the head unit. If I can get this piece in there. Alright, now it's in the clip. The kick panel goes right along there, and I took this kick panel off so I can route the wire up to the head unit. Alright, so we are wiring up the reverse trigger, and we are using the reverse light, which is a red with blue stripe. Problem is that I've already sealed everything up in the tailgate, so we're going to tie into that wire. And I forgot to record it when I did it. However, in this wire loom coming up the driver's side kick panel, right where I made my splice for the short video cable, right inside here I tapped in, I found the red with blue stripe wire, tapped into it, so now I have a yellow for my reverse trigger. Ran it up underneath the dash, and it is coming out there. So now I got to figure out how to tie the rest of this in together, and hopefully the reverse camera works. Alright, so we're getting set up here. We are gonna just loosely fit everything, test it out, make sure it actually still works before we get everything completely put together. Now we've got the pigtail that goes into the back of the head unit. We've got our video in for the head unit, the antenna. This is the old interface for the radio, which we no longer need. These down here are for the AC controls. This one, I believe, is the part for the old radio. These up here, this one is for the main display. Now, what we need to figure out is where we want to run our extra USBs. So, one is for your Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, and the other one is a charge only. And, you know, we want to put one on each side. See if our backup camera still works. Yes, it does. And because the tailgate's open, we're looking at my roof. Sweet.
Yes, yes it is.
Not happy about that. Bad cut job on my end.
But as the owner of the car, it is very acceptable.
All right.
Going from where we were to this, with the original setup, everything, this looks so much better.
All right, so
we got the bezel reinstalled. We've got our USB charging only, as my camera decides to wig out. We've got the USB charging only hanging out that side. We've got the Android and Apple CarPlay hanging out this side. Microphone set up. We didn't bother notching anything, it just kind of fit between the crease. But that is going to be the end of this install. Alright, so we got everything wrapped up. I'll leave links to everything I use down below. Like, share, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.